Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. And in this one today, we're answering a question from Warren Weber, N7WEB. Now, his question has to do with using a different microphone from the microphone that is normally used with the radio. Every radio these days comes with a microphone. That didn't used to be true. It used to be you had to supply not only your own microphone, but your own speaker. But nowadays, all the HF radios come with a microphone and there's a built-in speaker. You can use a different microphone if you want, and you can put in an external speaker to do whatever you may like. This right here is my Heil Pro 7. Okay, it's a very nice microphone. Now, these microphones do not have the same audio characteristics as the hand mic. So you might want to adjust them a little bit so that you can get a little bit more punch. These microphones tend to be a bit bassy, not so much at the higher frequencies. Now recall, when we're talking about audio here, we're talking about ham radio transmit audio, which is a 3 kilohertz bandwidth. Now, as you know, a good quality microphone might go up to 15 to 20 kilohertz in terms of bandwidth. And so when we use a mixer board or something like that, when we talk about the high, we're talking about frequencies that are way outside what can be used by the ham radio transceiver, which only goes from about 300 kilohertz, which is somewhat above middle C, by the way, up to about 3,000, sometimes less, 2,500 default in the case of the ICOM 7300. So what do you do? What you want to do is emphasize the treble in order to make your voice sound easier to copy when you're some ways away. So you're going to do two things. One, you're going to set the equalization, and number two, you are going to set the speech compression. Now, set the speech compression exactly as indicated in the manual. Now, some radios, like the Yaesu FTDX 3000, allow you to set a low, medium, and high, again, within the 3,000 hertz. And you can actually see the graph of it. And I had to do that with my external microphone. And as soon as I did that, I started getting much better results. Because if your microphone is too bassy, it's going to sound muffled over the air. You don't want that. You want to kick up the treble. Now, as it turns out, even though the 7300 is a entry-level radio, it does have the ability to do something. It's mentioned in the long manual. Let's take a look at it. This is on page 12-3 in the full manual. Now, the full manual doesn't come to you printed. This is the full manual here, see? And you're going to want to print this. I do, because I'm constantly referring to it. Okay, you look on page 12-3, and you see single sideband transmit bass, default 0, and single sideband transmit treble. Set the bass or treble level of the receive audio. Okay, these two right here. Range -5 to +5. What I would do is lower the bass a bit and increase the treble a bit, maybe by quite a bit. Have someone else listen to you as you try different adjustments, and they can tell you what punches through. Probably higher treble, lower bass, okay? Now, this setting right here, single sideband transmit bandwidth, can be wide, middle, or narrow. The wide gives you more punch up at the top end, and the narrow is down here to less. And you can set the lower and higher frequencies for these. If you're doing things like FT8, you actually want the higher bandwidth, okay? So, also here, the single sideband digital. So this would be USB-D or LSBD, transmit bandwidth. 300 to 27 is the norm. You might try expanding that a little bit on either end, okay? So, those are the things you can deal with. The rest are AM and FM stuff you don't deal with very much. Okay, but these are available for CW and so on and so forth, and they're part of the tone control. You go to the set, and then the tone control, and then the TBW, which is transmit bandwidth. Okay? So that gives you a way to adjust the transmit bandwidth to the microphone you are using, and you may find you get much better results. After I made those changes on my FTDX 3000, which allows a much greater control than this, I found that the number of people answering my CQs rose dramatically because my signal became much easier to copy. Now here's a little secret. I always run my single sideband transceiver with compression on, okay? It's just the way I do it. If you follow the instructions in the book, you're not inputting a huge amount of compression and your signal will not sound distorted. And then it's just like that all the time, okay? Sounds good, punches through, everything seems copacetic. This is a minimal set of controls, but be thankful that it is there. The other thing that you can do is try and get some sort of a mixer that allows you to adjust that frequency range between 300 and 3000 into 3 or 4 steps so that you can play games with that and get that just what you are trying to do. So there you have it. Until we next meet, 73 and great operating.